miserable day, but bright sunshine, no rain anywhere, and a very exciting day here in Chicago because of the new third baseman that the Sox are going to trot out there today, and it's Gordon Beckham, who's gotten a lot of attention. He had a meteoric rise through the system, and when you look at some of the numbers, you can understand why. University of Georgia led the country with 28 home runs. Then he went to Kannapolis, where he kind of tore it up briefly, finding himself starting the year in Birmingham, where he hit just under 300, hit a lot of doubles. And they moved him to AAA to see how he'd handle AAA pitching. You can see right there, it was a very short time, but he handled it very well. And he keeps on getting better with every step he's made in professional baseball. And this has to be one of the most exciting days of his life, and certainly as he goes out there, realizing that a left-hander, Mark Buehrle, is going to throw a lot of cutters inside to the right-hand hitter, so he's going to get a lot of action today at third base, as is Ramirez at shortstop. The Sox wait to take the field. Mark Buehrle has completed his bullpen. He's just getting ready to go, and I don't think you could have asked for a better day. Certainly you could have asked for a better series, as the Sox have dropped 2 of 3 from Oakland. But as far as this game is concerned, Gordon Beckham now is not the answer. Hopefully he is one of the answers that the Sox will exhibit. Southwest starting lineups. The A's go with Orlando Cabrera, Adam Kennedy, Matt Holliday, who's had a pretty good series, Jason Giambi, who's always done well against Mark Buehrle, Kurt Suzuki, Bobby Crosby, Aaron Cunningham, Rajai Davis, and Gregorio Petit at third base and hitting 9th. The defense and how they'll line up behind Buehrle, that's the Lowe's defensive setup, is Posednik, Wise, and Dye, left to right. In the infield, Beckham, Ramirez, Nixon, Konerko, A.J. behind the plate, and Mark Buehrle on the hill. He's a U.S. Cellular starting pitcher looking for his 7th win, sparkling ERA of 2.71. And he could easily have been 8-1 at this point. He's thrown the ball that well. So hopefully today he gets a little offensive support. Hopefully today the Sox can take care of a guy they've never seen before, and that's Brett Anderson. Here are the conditions today. It's 61 degrees, 48% humidity. Wind not that much of a factor out of the northeast, 8 to 15 miles an hour. And it's a sunny day. The umpires for the game: behind the plate, Dan Bellino at first, Phil Cuzzi at second, Tom Hallion, and Jerry Crawford is at third. And so they toss the ball around. Mark Buehrle has it. He's ready to go. And now I'll turn it over to my play-by-play partner, Hawk Harrelson.
All right, Stone Pony, thank you. And once again, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to White Sox baseball right here on Comcast Sportsnet. So happy you could join us for the finale of this 4-game set. And as Gordon Beckham threw the ball over to Mark Buehrle after they tossed it around as the first pitch of the ball game, and that is foul. Mark had a few words to say to Gordon, and you know what? Probably they were. Hang in there, kid. I'll take care of you.
Or probably, be ready, kid, because I run that ball into right-handers a lot, and you're going to get some work down there today.
Pass off the corner. Cabrera hitting at 229. A couple of homers. He's driven in 16. He's 1 for 11 in this series. And that's into left center field. D. Wise is there, makes the catch, and that is out number 1. Oakland comes in at 21 and 30, hitting at 239 as a club with a 4.43 team ERA.
Been a bad year for Oakland this year. They're 9.5 games in back of Texas. They've won 2 in a row, however, right here at U.S. Cellular. They're just 10 and 17 on the road, but as we've seen, Hawk, they got pretty good pitching.
Well, they have run some good arms out there against us in this series, and the oldest one being 24. He had Cahill go out there. He was 22. Mazzaro. And then
Mazzaro was 22.
22 and Cahill's 21.
Right.
And this youngster today is 21 years old, Brett Anderson. So we're seeing some good young pitching from the A's. But the thing is, it really doesn't make a whole bunch of difference when you consider the fact that people are talking about this year. You know, in the 7 games that we've seen, people we haven't seen before, we're 1 and 6. Well, we had trouble with them last year, and we had trouble with them the year before. So it's not just an 0-9 situation here. And Greg Walker and the guys, Mike Ellinger, they have tried to solve this problem. They have done the research. They have done the hard work. They've put that in. They've studied the film. And so far it has not been, as that's into center field. So Kennedy flies out, 2 down. So far it has just not come together.
Well, you're not going to be able, you can look at tape till the cows come home, and then you can look at the scouting reports on how a guy throws, but until you go up there and you see his deception, will that fastball, let's say 93, will it look like 95? Will it look like 90? That depends on the arm action and how's the curveball break or the slider, and to do that you just have to see him.
Matt Holliday takes ball 1. Well, the best example of that is yesterday with Josh Alton. When you go out there, he's a short-arming left-hander. On the gun, they get him at 95. And with his deception, as there's a base hit in the hole by Holliday, but with his deception, that thing's a good 6 inches quicker than it looks.
Well, he was tough to deal with, and in fact, the only pitch that was really tattooed was Jermaine Dye, and he hit it out in the first inning, and he hit it out on a pitch up and out of the strike zone. So Giambi's the guy you worry about. It's surprising because most left-handers don't have a great deal of success against Mark Buehrle, but Giambi is one of those who has.
9 for 22, a couple of homers, 7 RBIs against Buehrle. Giambi hitting at .219, 7 homers, 24 as he takes strike 1.
And you could tell that Joe Sparks, who was advancing for this Oakland team, has already filled in Matt Holliday, not to take much of a lead at first with Buehrle on the hill.
Joe Sparks, one of the best scouts in the game of baseball.
I think he's terrific, and he's been with Oakland for a while now, and he's been around baseball. He's one of those baseball lifers that really understands the game. And Hawk, without great scouts, you're not going to have a great organization.
Well, the heart and soul of baseball is that's popped up into right center field. Jermaine is there, but the heart and soul of the game of baseball is scouts. It always has been, it always will be. But after half inning of play, it's the A's nothing, and the good guys coming to bat.
A.J. Pierzynski hitting 5th and catching. Then Josh Fields the DH, Dwayne Wise, Gordon Beckham at 3rd. This is Major League debut, and Jason Nix. The defense, and how they'll line up for the A's. It's a Lowe's defensive setup. It's Holliday, Davis, and Cunningham in the infield. Petit, Cabrera, Kennedy, and Crosby. Suzuki behind the plate, and Brett Anderson on the hill.
And before we show you our picks to click, you at home select yours as Scotty Potts takes strike 1 from Brett Anderson. Potts 2 for 10 in the series, hitting at .286. That is high and wide. What's this youngster going to feature?
He's going to feature a fastball that tops out at 95. Maybe he can touch 96. He's got a real good slider. But one thing, Hawk, and I'm sure that it's in the team scouting report, but it's some things that I discovered about him. He's very slow off the mound. He's not a good fielder. And so you can bunt on him. He has a hard time sometimes covering first base. So you can beat him to the bag.
That's a little bit high. 2-2. Sounds like a report on Britt Burns. There's a little chopper. Kennedy very quickly, and he'll get it. Scotty Potts down that line. Mercer.
When you have speed and you chop a ball in the infield, you can pretty much smell a base hit. And that's exactly what Scotty did. He hustled. Good effort by Kennedy. He doesn't exactly have a cannon, and a promising way to start this first inning.
Gonna bring up Alexei.
Good call by Phil Cuzzi.
Hitting at .249, 3 homers. He's driven in 23. Tapes downstairs. I'm going to send out a big White Sox hello to all our servicemen and women around the world watching today on the Armed Forces Network. We thank you.
Now, Anderson, you would think that move would set up a good move. He doesn't have a real good move to first base.
Alexei 2 for 11 in the series. There's a strike on the inside corner.
Petit also is a middle infielder. He's a shortstop, second baseman, but he's pressed into service at third because Hanahan has some back problems.
And the count 2-1. Dan Bellino behind the plate has already called an inside strike. Needed him last night with Clayton Richard.
If you're going to use a hit and run, this is the pitch.
There it goes. And the throw is off the mark. So Scotty Potts picks up his 5th stolen base.
It was indeed the hit and run. That ball was low and out of the zone. Ramirez trying to protect him. Suzuki comes up throwing, but he took a little time to get rid of the ball. Doesn't usually do that, and the throw was on the first base side of second.
Right here, Alexei still has to go for himself with 2 strikes, a 2-2 count. Now, if that means he gets a pitch away and he pops it to the right side, all the better. Gap in left center. And there's a nice snap right there by Anderson. Tried to stay inside the ball, and that's out number 1. And right now, let's check out our Heineken picks to click this afternoon. Jim Angio, our Hall of Fame director and crew. Ellie, when Jermaine died. Steve, Larry, and Lisa. They're going to go with Paul Konerko and Ron Crown and all the great folks here at Stadium Club and all around in the suites. The Levy brothers, we're going to go with Gordon Beckley.
Well, they can't call you a front runner because he doesn't have an at bat yet. So we'll see how that plays out. I think it's a pretty good choice, though.
Here is Jermaine. Well, in the culture of the game today, Gordon's catching a pretty good break. In that he's got Brett Anderson, the left-hander, out there today. Now tomorrow, Carl Pavano, a right-hander, is going to be on the bump for Cleveland. But then Sowers and David Huff, 2 more left-handers. So 3 out of the first 4 games he's going to play, he's going to be facing southpaws.
Well, he better be observant enough, and I think he is, to realize that Dan Bellino's calling the inside pitch. In fact, that last pitch was so far inside that Jermaine looked back at him and said, you know, give me an idea about the plate here, because that looked to be 3-4 inches inside off the corner.
0-2 the count. Why not? They're going to stay in there, that breaking ball. And let's take a look at that pitch. Previous.
Suzuki wants it inside.
That pretty good pitch. I like an umpire will call the inside strike.
And Jermaine didn't believe it the first time, but having seen it called the first time, you got to do something to try to protect that area the second time. We'll watch it again. Suzuki wants it inside.
Well, this one's more over the middle than the previous inside strike that was called. That had more of the plate.
Yeah, that's not a bad pitch at all.
You see a lot of hitters today, they just can pull a trigger on that inside strike, especially right-handed hitters against left-handed pitching, because umpires, 85% of them won't call it.
And yet they set up, as you can see by that picture, they set up between the hitter and the catcher, so they have a straight-on look at the inside corner.
Tried to backdoor him right there. Paulie hitting at .297, 7 homers. He's driven in 33, 1 for 10 in this series. One and one to count. Outfield about equidistant, swung around to the left. That ball hit hard down to third base. Meanwhile, Petit sucks it up, throws him out. So we have a man on second, nobody out, and leave him right there. Tomey belted his 518th career homer off Kansas City's Luke Hochevar. But this would be no ordinary home run. This one traveled 464 feet and is the only home run to land on the fan deck in straightaway center field. And today, before the game, Jim was honored with his achievement as a plaque now marks the spot of Jim's blast from a year ago today. What a bomb that was. Wow.
That one looked like it kept going, and he did it again against Minnesota in the biggest game of the year, game 163. That one landed 3 feet short of where that plaque commemorates.
So here's Suzuki to lead it off. Takes strike one from Burley. Suzuki, Crosby, and Cunningham here in the top of the second. Hurt 2 for 8 in the series, but 5 for 9 lifetime off mark. And very quickly the count 0-2.
Well, I'm sure AJ has probably already mentioned to Dan Bellino, look, you're giving their guy the inside pitch. We got a guy that likes to work inside and cut his fastball to the right-handers. Just give us the same pitch.
Nice pick right there by Burley. 1 out.
In the third of 3 must-wins, Jim Thome comes up, the only run of the game, the only run the Sox needed, and that one went just a couple of feet short of the memorable home run. That one was more historic.
Well, those are the 2 longest I've seen hit here. And I've seen just about everyone that's been hit. Crosby pops it up. Paulie, there you go. All right.
Well, the pitcher has to act as a traffic cop. And the vision probably was a lot better than for Paul, and also he's used to this and how the winds take it. So when you're out there on the mound for all you young pitchers, when a ball goes up in the infield, you still have a job to do, and that's to call whoever you want to take the ball. And that time it just made more sense than a youngster starting his first game. You give it to a Gold Glove caliber first baseman.
Well, what you're saying is true, but unfortunately, about 3/4 of the managers want the pitchers to get out of there.
Well, that's all well and good, except when they collide on the mound.
I mean, I don't understand that mentality. You know, the pitcher's standing there. I think I've told you the story. I've had Catfish Hunter actually pull me to the ground, and it was in Baltimore.
Well, that's
Sal
the way
Bando was coming over, and I was running over, and all of a sudden he just tackled me around the neck, and I go to the ground, and all of a sudden Sal makes a tough catch.
Well, see, that's a way of telling you to get out of the way.
Yeah, grab him around the neck and throw him down. 3-0 the count to Cunningham. Aaron hitting at 125, 3 for 12 in this series, but it's unbelievable how managers, some of them.
Well, I don't know how that one was a ball. We'll take another look at it. Even Cunningham didn't think it was a ball.
That's belt high.
Belt high right down the middle. Usually when a catcher catches it above his mask, they'll call a ball. When he catches it below his mask, I don't care how big the catcher is unless he's LeBron James size.
So here's Davis. He's 2 for 3 in the series. That was last night.
And now Davis can just look fastball, which is primarily what he can hit.
There he takes the strike and the count 2-1. Yeah, but getting back to the managers, as I said, it's amazing how many guys just tell the pitchers, hey, when the ball goes up, you get out of it. Talking about micromanaging, now that's micromanaging.
It is that.
3-1.
Well, Cunningham, who hasn't had an attempt at a stolen base, I don't believe is going to be running here at 3-1. Sometimes you take a shot at it, but not with the move of Mark Buehrle.
There's the strike. So a full count.
Mark threw him what looked like a 3-1 changeup. Davis was trying to convince Dan Bellino that it wasn't right down the middle.
He was pulling a Ricky Henderson.
Just get ready to go.
Ricky, Hall of Famer, and absolutely deserves to be the first ballot Hall of Famer. But you couldn't throw him a strike. That's how to play right side. Ricky just didn't think that if he took it, it had to be a ball. You couldn't throw him a strike.
Well, he hit from one of the most severe crouches that I can recall. And it shrunk his strike zone to the point where you really had to throw it just about the knee. Anything above the thigh was high to him.
And out in front of that changeup.
Nice pick by Mike Gallego, the third base coach. Been around the major leagues a long time, was a player, good middle infielder.
He was a good competitor. He would battle his behind off. Once again, a payoff. And that's just foul. Thank you very much.
Well, I think it's too early yet for Ramirez to be giving the signs to Beckham. But usually, with this combination, a left-hander who likes to run the ball inside to right-hand hitters, third baseman would like to know when there's a cutter coming, because that's the ball you take down the line.
And that'll retire the side after an inning and a half. Nada. First pitch to A.J. is taken on the outside corner for a strike. He just sort of shrugs his shoulders, backs out, and says, "You kidding me?" He did not go. A.J. hitting at .299. 5 homers. He's driven in 12. 2 for 7 in this series with a homer.
Should be pretty lively down there today. Usually is in day games. And the temperature is a little bit warmer than it's been the last couple of night games. So hopefully as the temperature heats up, so do our hitters.
And there's a base hit. Off-speed pitch up. So the leadoff man aboard.
Suzuki wants it away, but this is a hanging slider. This ball hung right up in A.J.'s eyes, and he drove it through the right side. There's a mistake that Anderson didn't get away with.
Well, he comes in starting this ball game with 47 in the third innings, and he's given up 57 hits, so he's made some mistakes.
Yes. And 21-year-olds will. Most guys will, but youngsters will make more.
First pitch strike to Josh. Josh, a couple of hits last night. And the count 0-2.
That fastball today sitting around 91, 92. Hasn't had some of the real good velocity that he's had in his earlier starts.
And that's upstairs.
Last start he developed a blister problem. Apparently it's completely healed.
Anderson out of Stillwater, Oklahoma. And a 1-2 pitch. Got a good pitch to hit right there. Couldn't do anything with it.
Interesting positioning because Kennedy at second base likes to shade more up the middle. The reason is he's got much better range to his left toward first base than he does to his right going back up the middle. So he shades the middle, and most everything hit to him then will be hit to his left.
Good check by Josh. 2-2. Big gap out there in left center. Hits him on the fist, and that could be trouble. Cunningham, no, comes in, makes the catch.
Book a White Sox group outing or party area today. Save on each ticket for a group of 20 or more fans. Warning track, fan deck, or individual game diamond suites are available. Book a group outing or party area today. Call 312-674-1000 or visit whitesox.com.
Here's D. Wise. Dwayne hitting at 161, 0 for 5 in this series. Underneath that one, fouls it back.
Nazi was talking about Dwayne Wise after the game last night, and he was saying, look, he would have had a longer period in the minor leagues to rehab, but we had some injuries up here.
Watch out. That hits him. Hit him pretty good.
That's just the second hit batsman for Anderson this year.
And with that, a big round of applause for Gordon Beckham making his major league debut in this game, his first major league at bat.
A better way to do it than with a runner in scoring position.
Beckham started off the year in Birmingham. Takes that pitch outside where he hit .299, 4 homers, 17 doubles. Then he went to Charlotte, where he just tore it up for a combined 326 for 4 homers and 25 RBIs. Lines that one hard, foul down past Harrell. He also had 23 doubles between those two teams.
Well, in this ballpark, he's going to find as it gets warmer, we move into the summer, whenever it gets here, that those line drive doubles that he hit in the minor leagues will go out of the park in the alleys here.
And the one thing also that he will see, might not notice it today, but as he's here a while, he's going to notice the game up here is a lot faster than it was down in AAA or AA. And there are ways to fight that as a youngster, to slow it up a little bit.
One of the things he is, Hawk, is supremely confident.
A terrific attitude. That's up high. Terrific attitude.
That was a tough pitch to lay off, especially in your first at bat where you know the adrenaline's pumping.
This is probably the most nervous he's ever been in his whole career, in his whole life.
I would think so. You always remember your first at bat.
Down to third. There's one. And they can't turn it over.
Dwayne Wise did a nice job at second base. Chopper to the left side, and Petit makes a good play. See Dwayne, although he can't get a piece of him, he makes him move back about a step. Beckham beats the play at first.
That'll bring up Jason Nix. 3 for 9 in the series with an RBI. Jason was swinging the bat well. Hitting the ball hard. Fouls that back. The two guys on the team really have been hitting the ball hard and coming up empty are Konerko and Nix.
Well, one of the keys with Nix is I like to see him go back through the middle, and that's what he's been doing more of lately. When he hit the early home runs, he started to become very pull conscious. He's going to be able to hit the ball hard, but the biggest hole on the infield is always the middle.
Well, he can hit the ball out of here to center field. That's not an issue. So maybe it's going to take him to hit one over that right center field fence to understand, okay, you know, I can keep going back through the middle here and still hit home runs.
Here's a situation where you just want to pick out a good pitch and drive it back up the middle for a base hit.
Big pitch, the 1-1. Now the edge goes to Nix. No score here in the bottom of the second if you're just tuning in. That one at 93. So 2-2. Well, I'm a slider in the dirt.
Well, that one might be able to get by Suzuki, who normally is pretty good at blocking low pitches. He's got great mobility behind the plate.
Very good. Out and around that. Nix does an awful lot of good things at the plate. A lot. Stay on top of him. Little comeback on a breaking ball, and he'll pitch out of it. So we get the lead man off and running. Can't do anything with it after 2, no score. 4th game in a row they've run a rookie pitcher out there against us.
And we've had our chances in this one. Haven't been able to cash them in, but when you get the leadoff hitter on, you have to do something with them, and we haven't.
Here's Gregorio Petit hitting at 261. Gregorio, 24 years old. Takes a strike to even the count at 1.
He was inserted late into the lineup. Hanahan was supposed to play third, but came up a little sore.
And there's a Matabatacola base hit right back through the middle.
If you can't watch your White Sox on Comcast Sportsnet, you can always catch the game on your computer with MLB.tv. The ultimate baseball experience featuring 100 out-of-market games a week live on your computer. For more details, visit WhiteSox.com, where baseball is always on.
A's go back to the top of the order. Orlando Cabrera, who went out to Wise in center.
Petit doesn't run particularly well, and that's what makes this a pretty good hit and run situation, because we know Cabrera can handle the bat.
Well, he should be hitting at 0-1 instead of 1-0. Here, look at this. Snap. Back him up. Nicolai. Howdy doing?
The mark is as good as it gets in the middle of that diamond. Normally that's a base hit. And the big advantage he got was it was a rocket, but it was a rocket to his glove side. We talked about that and how important that is. And you don't have to cross your body to snag one. It's a lot easier. And then he got Petit on a base running mistake and gunned him out.
Well, that ball right there is going to get a lot of guys at first.
Well, it is.
That line shot like that, you'd think it's by the pitcher. Uh-oh. That's softly hit off the fist. And that'll do a beautiful play by Burley. And we go to the bottom of the 3rd.
Look at the numbers, and you can tell the table setters are doing just that.
And we have them right here. Hyde still lead it off, followed by Alexei and Jermaine Dye. And once again, a big White Sox hello to all our servicemen and women around the world watching today on the Armed Forces Network. We're thinking about you, and you're in our prayers. The 0-1 pitch. Hyde's had an infield single. Picked up a stolen base in the bottom of the 1st. 2-1.
This is still a pretty good guy to bunt on because he doesn't move all that well, but they are in on the grass at both corners.
Davis
Make every home game a double play at U.S. Cellular Field this season with 2 ballpark hot dogs for the price of 1. Visit an All-Star concession stand during the first hour after gates open. For White Sox individual game tickets, call 866-SOX-GAME or visit whitesox.com.
Here's Alexei. After Potts beat out that infield single and then stole second, Alexei had a 2-2 count and still tried to stay inside of it to get him over, but hit a little comebacker to Anderson. Change up way out in front.
Now Anderson can give up home runs. He comes in leading the staff in that department. He's given up 10 of them in now 49 innings of work.
And there's a little shank in the right field. That's going to fall for a base hit. A little duck snort right there for Alexei. And I'll bet you at least half of those home runs, maybe more, came on hangers.
Well, it could very well be. I do know that 7 of the 10 were solo home runs, which probably is not going to hurt you all that much. It's the base hits or the walks that precede the home runs that usually do you in.
Here's Jermaine. Called out on a fastball. A couple of pitches there that Jermaine thought were questionable. Especially the first inside strike call. So Suzuki now setting up towards the outer half. Another change. And that is foul. And the count 1-2. And of course, you know, when you're talking about the Armed Forces Network, you're also talking huge audience out there. 176 countries and aboard over 200 ships at sea.
It's great. Great to be able to give them a little diversion.
Comebacker. They got plenty of time. Nice pick over there by Crosby. And that'll retire the side. There was a single by Alexei, and we'll go to the 4th scoreless.
Question. Who was the last A's pitcher to lead the AL in ERA? There's been some good ones over the years.
A whole bunch of them.
Yep.
Holiday will lead it off. He's 1 for 1. Got a single in the hole. As the count evens at 1. Holiday now 5 for 13 in the series. There's just a bullet down the line. So he will pull up with the leadoff double, his 8th two-bagger. Check that, 9th two-bagger of the season.
Beckham has no chance on this one. We talked about when Mark is going to throw that cutter inside, the third baseman has to know about it because the ball is going to go hard down that line. Mark tried to cut the fastball in. No chance at all for Beckham at third.
So here's Giambi. He popped up into short right center field. Takes first pitch strike. Giambi now 9 for 23 lifetime. Off Burley with a couple of homers. Checking some other scores. Top of the 7th in Detroit. Boston leading the Tigers 6-3. That'll get the job done. And it's out number 1. Minnesota leading Cleveland 7-2, top of the 6th in Minneapolis. The Yankees were trailing pretty big to Texas. They have now come back to take a 6-5 lead, hitting in the bottom of the 5th in the Bronx.
Now Suzuki is one of the catchers that can bunt. And with Holiday having the kind of speed he has, which is good speed, it's always a possibility. The infield in at all 4 positions.
Hit him on the fist, pops him up. Souvenir right side.
Mark will deliver his 46th pitch with an out here in the 4th.
Turns it over, misses low. Finale of this 4-game set tomorrow. Cleveland Indians come to town for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday games. Tomorrow night, Johnny Danks against Carl Pavano. That's softly hit into center field, but Holiday tagging. Here he comes, and forward way off the mark. And it's 1-0.
Good fundamental baseball exhibited by this Oakland team. Leadoff double. Giambi went up to do one thing, pull the ball to the right side. He got that done, and then the sacrifice fly. RBI number 18 for Suzuki, and Oakland takes the lead.
Here's Bobby Crosby, popped up to Konerko. Curveball strike. Yeah, we'll have the Indians this weekend and then starting Monday. Have a split doubleheader with the Tigers. First game at 1, and then the second game at the regularly scheduled time of 7:11. So we'll have 5 games against Detroit in 4 days. Nice pitch. And that'll do it. But they do pick up a run. They break the tie. It is 1-0 Bad Guys.
Who was the last A's pitcher to lead the American League in ERA? And the answer, Steve Ontiveros, 265 back in 1994. That would have been a tough one to guess.
There's a blast from the past right there. Paulie looks at ball one, low and away. Change up. Paulie 0 for 1, hit the ball hard down to Petit at third. Paulie, as I mentioned, has been hitting the ball. He's been barreling it up as the count goes to 2-0.
Well, a guy that gives up a lot of home runs at a 2-0 or 3-1 count is a good situation for us.
Changes up on him and grabs the strike. Paulie hit the ball hard 3 times last night on 1 hit. Ball hard twice the night before. And there's another one hit hard in the center field. Davis back. Another one right on the button. Mercy.
Join White Sox sluggers Jim Thome and Paul Konerko at Lizzie McNeil Sunday at 5:30 for a special appearance in support of Children's Home and Aid Foster Kids and the Bring Me Home campaign. All proceeds go to benefit foster children and families. To purchase tickets, visit childrenshomeandaid.org.
Another hang with 'em for Konerko, and here is AJ. AJ singled on a hanger. Off-speed pitch up in the hole between first and second. And that is going to be Souvenir right side. No, it's not.
What a play by Cunningham.
That wind just absolutely brought that ball back. That ball was going to be, it was in the seats, and all of a sudden here it comes back.
Well, credit Cunningham for staying with it and having the presence of mind to go into a slide as he nears the stands. This is a good effort because when you slide, especially as short as it was when he slid and hit the wall, keep your concentration's a pretty good trick.
Well, the wind, this goes to show you the swirling effect here. The wind's blowing briskly from left to right.
And that ball stayed in the
and
park.
The ball came back. So here's Josh. Josh popped up to Cunningham his first trip. You never know here in this ballpark. Remember when Lance Johnson was here? Lance said without question, in all the parks in the American League, this is without doubt the toughest to play center field. There's a little looper. Davis is playing very deep at that speed. He's got that make-up speed, and he uses it to make the play. So a 1-2-3 inning, and we'll go to the 5th. Cunningham, Davis, and Petit. As Aaron fouls first pitch out of play, he walked his first trip. It is 1-0. 1-3-0 for the A's, 0-3-0 for our Sox. And once again, a pitcher we've never seen is putting some goose eggs up there against us. That's just foul.
You could certainly understand it one time through the order. The second time, you get a pretty good idea about what he throws. However, this has been a continuing problem. And we're down to the lower third when we face him in the 5th inning and have 3 singles to show for it.
Well, in 22 2/3 innings against these 4 guys that we have never seen. He gone. In 22 2/3 innings, we have scored a total of 5 runs.
And won 1 ball game. That basically was against the bullpen. Beckham comes in at the grass, respecting the speed of Davis.
I've never seen it. It's just a mystery. These are the kind of guys that you want to see as veteran hitters.
Normally that would be the case, and usually is. But this is not the first year this has happened.
No, it's happened for several years. That's a can of corn in the center, but you put it right earlier, Stone Pony. You know, you can go in there and you can watch that film till your behind falls off. Okay, and you can watch and watch and watch it, but until you get a bat in your hand and go 60 feet 6 inches from this guy, if you think you can coordinate a plan, and then all of a sudden you go up there and you see one pitch off this guy and he's 6 inches quicker, all of a sudden you got mental chaos.
Well, you also have no plan, but
mental chaos.
So far, Anderson's been his build. He's had pretty good stuff. He's topped out at 93.
Petit, broken bat, base hit back through the middle. I've always thought that the videotape, according to who was watching it, could be your best friend or your worst enemy.
I think sometimes when you depend on it too much, it's not a real helpful thing. But nowadays they have advanced scouts that do a great job of dissecting pitchers and how they're going to throw. And of course then you have all the at-bats you ever had against guys.
I think when you're watching videotape, the best thing you can do is not try to gauge his stuff, is try to just look at it objectively and see if there's any patterns that he's going to follow. If you can do that now, you can get a little better idea, because again, you can't judge his stuff until you're seeing him up close and personal. He gone. 1-2-3 inning for Burley. We're halfway home. It is 1-0 Oakland. Chuck Garfien.
That's our Chuck Garfien. Yes, it is.
Meanwhile, our Chuck Garfien's got to try to find a way to get us some points to put on that board. Wayne Wyatt was drilled, hit by a pitch, hit him good.
Once again, they're in at the corners. Both Petit and Crosby in on the grass to try to take any thought of a bunt away.
That's fouled back. That ball's trying to come back. It's on top of our dugout. Gordon Beckham on deck. One and two the count to Wise. Right back through the middle. So the leadoff man aboard. Third time we have had the leadoff man. Back in the first, we had him at second, nobody out. Couldn't do anything with him.
It's a promising start to the fifth inning. And by now, everybody has seen Anderson twice, except for Beckham and Nix. So he should be starting to get a little more vulnerable.
Jacks it up. He did not go. Gordon hit into a 5-4 fielder's choice in his first major league at bat.
He's got Petit well off the line at third base and looking for a bunt. I don't think that's going to happen.
That ball hit high into right center field.
Visit your friendly neighborhood Culver's restaurant and enter the Kid of the Game sweepstakes for your chance to announce play ball from the field prior to a White Sox home game. Visit your local Chicagoland or Northwest Indiana Culver's restaurant for details.
So here's Nix. Jason bounce back to Anderson.
That was a walk. He moved that front foot. It was called by Bellino and Cuzzy. But Anderson has to know what he did. He moved the front foot, and then he picked it up to make the pitch. And there's a break. Watch his front foot. Right there's the balk.
That's his first balk. So now base hit. Nope. Just flip that one up there. You can see it coming.
With Kennedy holding Wise close at second base. For some of the military watching, you could drive a battalion through the right side.
And that is sliced. And that one is a souvenir. So 1-1 to count to Jason Nix.
And Jeff Cox is most likely going to run on all of these outfielders.
He got the edge now. It is 2-1.
Was very photogenic.
Right here, Jason. Right man, right spot, right time. on the change up. And that's 2 down. So it's up to Scotty Pods. Scotty singled and stole second in the first inning. Then he went out to center in the third. Big gap out there in right center as he takes a breaking ball strike.
One White Sox hitter who's been real good with runners in scoring position is Paul Konerko. Today, quite obviously, 0 for 6.
Good job. That breaking ball a little bit high. Al Anderson's father, Frank, is the head baseball coach at Oklahoma State.
He's here today. They got eliminated.
As well, he should be.
They got eliminated by Clemson, and he is at the ball game.
That's just slapped. Hyde's trying to slap that one down in the left field corner. A little bit tardy, and the count 2-2.
That's a big young man there. Second round pick of the Diamondbacks. He's fitting nicely into this rotation.
Wow. Wow. Boy, that way off the plate. Meanwhile, he calls him out, and we'll go to the 6th. Adam Kennedy and Matt Holliday here in the top of the 6th inning as that pitch high and wide. Cabrera's 0 for 2. He's going out to center, then back in the 3rd inning after Petit led it off with a single. He had a bullet back through the middle that Mark Buehrle snabbed it and doubled him up. 2-1.
You're actually better off staying away from Cabrera because when you go inside, that's a ball that he drives down the line.
Leadoff walk.
And here's our Home Depot doing more on defense. And it was a play that Hawk was just talking about. Runner on first, line drive. That turns it into a double play, and that ends the third inning.
So here's Kennedy. He's going out to center and grounded to short. One 3-0 for the A's, 0-4-0 for our Sox.
Kennedy's asked to bunt just one time this year. And it looked like he made an attempt, at least in the opinion of Dan Bellino, and he's got the deciding vote. I don't think Kennedy's real happy with that call. And that's good, because we haven't been happy with a few of them.
Well, it's a committee of one that gets things done.
That's true.
Only play is going to be the first, so the sacrifice, 1-3.
Oakland's executed well today.
And it's looked easy.
It has, but we know from experience that it's not. But I think it's easier than we have made it at times. And now they're going to just not even mess around with Holiday and put him on first.
He has singled and doubled, then scored the only run of the ball game.
Giambi in the on-deck circle. He's the guy with the real good numbers, and that's probably why Bob Guerin decided to bunt with Kennedy, knowing that with first base open, you probably lose Holiday. He's 2 for 2, but he has confidence that Giambi can get the job done. Though Giambi is a good man for 2 if you can get him to hit it on the ground.
He did last time into a 3-1 fielder's choice. He also, his first time, went out to right field. One out, 2 on. First pitch strike. This is the first inning that the A's have had 2 men aboard.
This is going to be a little bit difficult of a double play if it's hit at Nix, especially if he has to go to his left, because Ramirez is on the first base side of second. He's got to cover second.
Tilt. It is 4-0 Oakland. Number 8 for Giambi.
And the good numbers for Giambi against Mark Buehrle continue. He's now driven in 27. And our Ford home run replay. Home run number 404 in the career of Giambi. This is a cutter that doesn't do much.
Well, when they put 3 on the board with 1 hit, that's not good. Leadoff walk to Cabrera starts the whole thing. And the intentional walk to Holiday after the sacrifice by Kennedy. So Bob Guerin just played that one like a fiddle.
Well, he knew exactly what was going to happen, that you give up Holiday's bat, but you've got a guy behind him with real good numbers against the guy you're facing.
And that's a base hit. Suzuki, he also has hit Mark well. He is now 6 for 11.
Oakland came into this series 8-17 on the road. They just keep hitting the ball.
Mark cannot get that inside corner as Anderson can. That's into center field. Wise is there. And that is out number 2. I wonder why that is. Why is that, Steve? Steve?
I can't tell you. I'd like to tell you. I just can't.
I can't barely get the inside corner, and Anderson can.
I think Mark is probably asking the same thing. I know AJ is asking the same thing because he'll do that on occasion.
That ball gets by AJ. I'll never forget the day we had a night game. You and Harry were doing the game with the Cubs, and I'm lying on the couch watching it. It was a high pop and foul territory. Luis Salazar was playing third base, and he goes over and misjudges it. And Harry goes, "Steve, how can Luis Salazar, who comes from Venezuela, where the sun shines every day, misjudge a pop-up in the sun?"
That's what he said. And
I fell right off the couch.
That's how easy it can happen.
Oh, boy. The 1-1. Alexei on the move. Nice pick by Paulie, but things go awry here in the top of the sixth. The leadoff walk to Cabrera, the intentional walk to Holiday, the three-run homer by Giambi, and we're in trouble. Song third verse right here, big guy.
It's unbelievable and inexplicable how, facing a guy for the first time, this offense completely shuts down, and they're doing it again today.
Alexei takes ball one. Alexei is 1 for 2. Had a little soft single in the right field as they lead it 4-0. Yeah, this is. Let's get down. It will. Thank you very much. So the leadoff single. 4th time we've had that man on base. And here's Jermaine. Jermaine 0 for 2.
Going through the heart of the order for the 3rd time, this should be a tough inning for Anderson.
You would hope. As he takes ball one.
He's only thrown 78 pitches, which is fairly economical so far. Hasn't walked anybody. That's been one of the keys, where he's been able to give up 5 hits.
All singles.
And none bunched in the same inning.
That ball hit high and deep into right center field, but not deep enough. Davis making the calls, got the ball.
Not quite sure what Cunningham was doing, because Davis called for it, and I guess he's telling him, "Didn't you hear me?"
He was just making sure.
Take a look at Aaron Cunningham as he comes over. Davis is calling for it all the way, and it's his play anyway. And Cunningham just darts in front of it.
So here's Paulie. He's been to the plate twice. He's 0 for 2, and he's hit the ball hard twice. Right here, 14. Tops that one foul. Outfielder deep, about equidistant, slightly to the left. If there's any gap, it's a small one in right center. And very quickly the count, 0-2.
Paul thinks he's cracked his bat, and if he thinks it, it probably is. But tap it. Let's see. Apparently it sounds okay.
There's $95 saved.
Gonna tap it a couple more times just in case.
Tap it one more time, it's liable to pop in 2. You can tap it right on the screws and still have it explode. That maple. AJ on deck. Good 2-strike hitter. That's way low and away. This series coming up this weekend, we're going to run Danks, Floyd, and Cologne out there against Cleveland Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. They're going to run Pavano, Sowers, and Huff. Check out weekend probables. WCIU, Channel 26 tomorrow. Fox has got it on Saturday, and then on Sunday, Comcast Sportsnet. Just a decent lead by Alexa. And it gets by him, and everybody's going to be safe. So Konerko with an infield. That is, you don't think this game of baseball, he's just been scalding it. Right at somebody, then it's a little change up. Man.
Well, you remember I told you that Anderson wasn't real quick off the mound. Here's an example of it. It cost him a base hit the first time we've had as many as 2 in 1 inning. Paul will graciously take that one.
Better believe it. It never evens up. Never evens up. As here's AJ. One swing of the bat here, and we got a different perspective on this game. Boy, it's been a good crowd today, too.
It's been a crowd waiting for something to cheer about.
Exactly. They just right on the edge, waiting to break out. AJ is 1 for 2. Look at that. Nice pick by Kennedy and Rackham. The ball's hit hard. That's the second double play turned by the A's, and this inning is over. Braves down in Atlanta. Don't miss the Cubs and the Braves tonight at 6 right here on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend. Into the 7th inning. Here in the finale of this 4-game set. It'll be Davis, Petit, and then back to the top of the order, Cabrera. Isaiah Davis has struck out and gone out to center field. Takes the bunt, takes the ball. A Detroit game in the top of the 9th inning at Comerica Park with Boston still leading 6-3. Bottom of the 8th in Minnesota. Twinkie is hammering the Indians 10-3. Texas and the Yankees are tied at 6. That game in the 7th inning in the Bronx. Chow.
Catch the ball and avoid the bat. This ball hit right at Beckham, and the toughest part was ignoring a flying bat coming at you.
So another Matabatacola. And here's Petit, who has singled. He had a broken bat single. And also struck out.
That's the first play Gordon's had all day.
Well, he's come close on one other, and that was it.
Yeah, that was a base hit that he had no chance to get, and a double that he had no chance to get. So they've hit it to his left and his right. This one went right at him.
One and one to count. Turns it over, pulls the string, and he chases it, so the count 1-2.
You can strike him out with another good changeup here, because Petit, who doesn't play a whole lot, is real aggressive up there.
Off the end of the bat. Jermaine can't make the play.
This is E9. It's a play that Jermaine has made many times and didn't make this time. Off the end of the bat. Sometimes those slides allow your head to move, your eyes to move, and that hit the heel of the glove.
One of the first outfielders to use that slide on a regular basis was an outfielder named Gino Cimoli. Now Mark take the time he will and rack him up. Second double play turn by the Sox. 7th inning stretch. We got some work to do. get something going, Stone Pony.
Well, we've out-hit him. However, the one long ball has made a big difference. And out-hitting him, I don't think at the end of the day is going to count very much.
Here's Josh. Takes ball one. Josh has gone out to right, and he has gone out to center. Wow. That ball had no chance of going around that plate. I mean, being a strike. Went around the plate. Take another look at it.
First one was a called ball. And that never was a strike.
Never came close to it.
It wasn't a strike when it left his hand, nor was it a strike when Suzuki caught it. It stayed outside.
Not even close. And the count goes full.
Anderson hasn't walked anybody yet. And this would be a good way to start the seventh.
And that is just foul.
That fastball was at 94, so he's actually picking up velocity as the game has moved along.
That's the fastest I've seen it.
He's hit the 91 pitch mark. A couple of starts ago, he actually felt pretty good and got it up to 96. One time 97, but he doesn't pitch in that range very often.
High pop up. Kennedy makes the call. Got the ball, one down.
Don't miss your chance to get the best seats available for the June matchups against the Indians this weekend and the Tigers June 8th through the 11th. To purchase your individual game tickets, call 866-SOX-GAME or visit whitesox.com.
So here's Dwayne Wise, and once again a big White Sox hello to all our servicemen and women around the world watching today on the Armed Forces Network. We thank you. We're thinking about you, and you're in our prayers. One and one to count to D. Wise, who was hit by a pitch and then singled sharply back through the middle. Breaking ball. Big rip.
Michael Wirtz getting loosened up in the bullpen. We saw Michael last night for 2/3 of an inning. He walked one, no damage.
Hooks that one foul.
The guy that we saw last night that had terrific stuff was the guy who finished it up with 5 up and 5 down, and that was Bailey.
He had the best stuff of anybody we've seen yet out there.
Real impressive.
No, they're young guys.
Yep.
And that's foul back. Two and two with one down here in the bottom of the seventh. 4-5-0 for them. 0-6-1 for us. Very nice catch. A youngster who did not bring his glove.
When you have hands that good, you don't need a glove.
Well, what you're saying, if you get bad hands, you need two?
Indeed.
Got him with that one. 2 down.
It looked like Dwayne was just outguessed. Because that looked like it had a big portion of the plate. We'll take another look at it. Suzuki wants it outside.
That's just a good strike.
That one splits the middle of the plate.
Not a bad pitch to hit either.
Nope.
So here's Gordon. Beckham has hit into a 5-4 fielder's choice, and he has gone out to center. Backdoor curveball.
That's what Anderson has started to throw this third time through the order. He started to throw that first get me over breaking ball.
1-1 to count. Chops that one foul. So a ball and 2 strikes. Gordon Beckham, who was hitting a combined .326 with 4 homers, 25 RBIs, 23 doubles down at Birmingham and Charlotte. 28 home runs last year at the University of Georgia, which tied for the NCAA lead, and here he is playing in his first Major League Baseball game.
Pretty amazing when you think about it. I mean, there's been a lot of cases years ago of guys just coming right from college, going to play pro ball. Bob Horner comes to mind. Of course, Al Kaline, one of our favorites, never played a day in the minor leagues, and he came out of high school.
He led the big leagues in hitting when he was 20 years old.
Things a little different these days. I would say that 50-some games in the minor leagues, and you know that Buddy Bell certainly knows talent. He certainly can talk about infielders, and he feels he's ready. Well, here he is.
It's good enough for me.
Yep.
1-2. He did not go. Well, Beckham is the 3rd member of last year's draft class to reach the major leagues, joining Detroit's Ryan Perry.
You saw him,
the reliever, and Arizona's Daniel Schlereth.
I saw him also.
Saw him on TV.
Gave up a 3-run homer, a 3-run double to James Loney.
So Gordon is the first position player out of last year's draft to reach the big leagues. Big hack. 1-2-3 inning for Anderson, and we'll go to the 8th. Thank you, our Chuck Garfien. As 2-0 the count, Adam Kennedy, who is 0 for 2 with a sacrifice bunt. 4-0. A's trying to take 3 out of 4 after the Sox won the opener 6-2. Gavin Floyd pitched very well. Big 3-run homer by Jim Thome. But Matt Thornton picked up the victory. And there's out number 1.
Softly hit ball and an easy play for Ramirez. I believe, Hawk, we've got 2 Gold Glove candidates on this team. And I'm not including Mark Burley, who's got a pretty good shot at it, but Ramirez and Konerko both will deserve a lot of consideration for Gold Gloves.
Well, with Burley, you know, when it's hard to say anybody's the best, But with Burley, I mean, you can tie him, but it's hard to beat him.
He always makes accurate throws. I've never seen him not cover first base. He's always there in plenty of time, and he picks everything back through the middle.
Catches a break right there. That strike to Holiday. And the count 0-2.
Tavio Dotel throwing in the pen.
He gone. Holiday does not like the last two.
Well, that one was better than the pitch before.
Oh, yeah.
AJ wants it away. Mark throws it down. Not from the side angle, which usually looks like a strike. It looked like a strike. Don't think it was, but it looked like it.
Giambi 1 for 3, a big 3-run homer, his 8th of the season. Curveball strike. And number 403 in his career.
Our Dodge drive of the game came on a cutter that didn't cut. And Giambi takes it out of the park.
And that's for Alexei. Guns, yes. Make that 404 for Giambi, who homered yesterday as well. Meanwhile, we got 6 outs to get 5 runs.
In the life of Gordon Beckham, the first day of his professional major league life. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. Hanahan in the game to play third. Jack Hanahan was in the starting lineup, then was removed. Now apparently the back has loosened up somewhat, and Michael Wirtz comes into the game for the 26th time. Fine ERA of 2.52. We saw him last night. He mostly depends on a slider, which he gets over the plate fairly consistently, and it's a downer instead of one that moves across.
Jason Nix is 0 for 2. Takes that pitch down low. Outfield slightly to the left. They're spread out. On the outside edge of the outside corner.
Well, Wirtz occasionally can have some control problems if Edgar Gonzalez loosens up.
the outside corner, and count 1-2 with Scotty Pods on deck. Suzuki to the outside. And the count evens at 2. Mickey plans to be with us this weekend right here at beautiful US Cellular Field. Tomorrow night, Johnny Danks against Carl Pavano. First of a 3-game set against the Tribe. And let's take a look at our Felco upcoming schedule. There you see 3 with the Indians and then 5. We've got a split doubleheader on Monday against Detroit. First one starts at 1, second one starts at 7:11. So we got some bounce back and we got to do.
Comcast and Magnum Insurance present Orgullo Sox Night tomorrow night. Enjoy a pregame concert with the Latino performers, Orgullo. For tickets, call 866-SOX-GAME or visit whitesox.com/Orgullo. That's tomorrow night. We've run fresh out of reeds.
I love it when you say Orgullo.
I'm going to use that every day the rest of the year.
That's up high. Pods 1 for 3. Gap out there in right center. Hanahan at the cut of the grass at third. And there's a strike to even the count at 1.
Made a couple of shots at Brett Anderson. Didn't work out real well. He went 7 innings. 6 hits, no runs, no walks, 1 hit batsman, and 4 strikeouts. Ace starters, as you can see, with the youngest being 21, the oldest being 24 that we've seen, have held us in check.
High pop up, that's playable. 2 down. And that'll bring up Alexei, who was 2 for 3 this afternoon. Come on, Alexei. Let's get some 2-out stuff going here.
That's a good slider that Wirtz has, and he's had a particularly effective year out of their pen. 24 strikeouts, just 8 walks, and now 25 2/3 innings.
That's outside. Well, these 4 starters, these rookies, they started against us. They won a total of 25 2/3 innings, giving up 19 hits and 5 runs.
They were all pretty impressive, all a bit different. They all threw well.
As Alexei goes down, a 1-2-3 inning for Wirtz, and we'll go to the 9th.
Book a terrace suite today. Call 312-674-1000 or visit whitesox.com.
It's the top of the ninth. We trail at 4-0, and Stoney, the mystique of the first time we see them pitchers continues.
Well, if we drop this one, and that's not decided quite yet, still 3 outs to go, it's going to be 1-7 against first-time starters.
Well, if we drop this one, it won't be because of the first-time starter. It'll be because of the bullpen.
Well,
I tell you, it's been unbelievable. What you and I have, 88 years between us?
in the neighborhood. I have recalculated starting my 41st.
Okay,
and
so
you're
at 91.
91.
91 years between us. Neither one of us. Have you ever seen it before?
4 rookies in the same series? No.
Me either. Me either.
Especially 4 guys who are as young as these guys and put together 4 pretty good outings.
I have never seen it. 91 years of experience between the two of us. Pretty compelling.
Well, most pitching staffs have an anchor or two. They want a couple of veterans in there to help the young kids. Billy Beane decided that he wasn't going to do that, that he was going to go with the youngsters in the rotation, some veterans in the pen, and certainly a veteran team, but they've had a few injuries as far as the team goes.
That's fouled away in the count 1-2. Well, from our standpoint, I wish he'd have started 4 good veterans.
You know, they're making a movie about Billy Beane. And apparently they're going to start to shoot it. So they do have 1 playoff series win during his tenure.
When was that? That's into left field. And that's out number 1.
They beat Minnesota in a series that I actually did on the radio. And that was their lone playoff series victory under Billy.
Well, that's warrants a movie.
No question. Pretty soon they'll be doing one about Joe Grube.
There'll be a series. As there's a base hit by Buddy Crosby. He's 1 for 4 this afternoon. And here's Aaron Cunningham. He has walked, struck out, and grounded to short. Outfield slightly to the right, gap in left center. There goes Crosby. And he's going to make it. So he picks up his second stolen base. AJ had no chance.
It wasn't a good throw by AJ, but even if the throw was right on the mark, it would have been very difficult with that jump to throw him out.
A lot of people talking about the percentage of runners that have not been thrown out by AJ and Corky Miller, who now has Ramon Castro on the club. Well, they've had no chance. That's simple as that. When you get guys that cannot hold runners on, I don't care if you've got Johnny Bench, Rodriguez, anybody behind the plate.
If you show me a high leg kick with any guy with speed, and 1-3 for a pitcher from the set position home is major league average. Our guys at times get to 1-5, 1-5.5. You can't throw anybody out there.
That's up high. Ivan Rodriguez is not going to throw him out.
No, not at 1-5 or above.
That ball hit deep. Got a breaking ball up. A hanger, and it is 6-0. His first major league home run.
This was a series where the Sox have been out-homered, out-pitched, out-defended, and outrun. And when that happens, you're liable to lose 3 or 4.
I think that is second. They brought him up last year. Aaron Cunningham, second major league home run. So here's Davis. He's 0 for 3. Strike on the outside corner. Davis can run.
Scotty Podds made it a close play. A lot closer than I thought it was going to be.
It's fun to watch that guy run.
Davis can really run. And normally he doesn't hit real well, but in this series he has. Sudden gets to the ball, spins, throws it on the mark, and it just arrives an eyelash late.
Good play by Scotty. I was just watching strictly Davis right there, but to make it that close, yeah, it was a good play.
Shanahan's first at bat. He came in defensively at third base. He's hitting 179. 1 home run, 5 driven in.
Petit was 1 for 3. 6-8-0 for the A's. No runs, 6 hits, and 1 error. Sox being right now in a situation where they could be shut out for the 8th time this year. That's high.
Wes Whistler throwing into bullpen, as Octavio doesn't have much out there today. He's a triple away from throwing for the cycle.
Two and two the count.
That got a piece of AJ. And he's going to have to walk that one off because he's a pretty tough guy. When he shows you that he got hit square, this got him partially on the palm, the heel of the glove. That'll send some pain shooting up your arm.
And Dan Bellino doing the right thing, taking some extra time. Well, again, in all my years in this game, I've never seen a guy who could play for the most part every day with as much pain as A.J. Pierzynski.
Ball gets away, and that'll go as a wild pitch. Take another look at it. AJ wants it away. Dotel gets it in. And we're saying he doesn't have much. He doesn't have a real good idea where he's throwing the baseball. And now the infield has to come in at all 4 positions.
So that'll bring up Orlando Cabrera, who's 0 for 3 with a walk and a run scored.
Brad Ziegler has the most saves on this team, throwing in the bullpen. This, of course, nowhere near a save situation.
Strike. 0-1 to count.
Well, Orlando has lined into a double play, grounded into a double play. Ground ball here, maybe the trifecta.
Wild swing right there, and the count 0-2. Take him right here. That's into center field. That's going to get the job done as Rise will just get it back in, and it's 7-0.
Here comes Ozzie.
So Octavio Dotel comes on. Gives up 3 runs. Man at first base is his responsibility. He departs, and we'll be back.
He inherits a runner at first. Those are the minor league numbers at Charlotte. That got him a promotion, a fine ERA. And he faces Kennedy with 2 outs here in the ninth.
That's outside. Kennedy 0 for 3. He is 0 for 13 in the series. And the count 2-0.
I know you don't want to walk this guy to get to the next guy.
Kennedy knows the same thing. Sometimes you know, but you just can't do anything about it. But they come up with a 3 spot, and we'll go to the bottom of the ninth. It is 7-0 Athletics. All the highlights. Get Bill Melton's analysis, plus listen in on Ozzie's post-game remarks. Don't miss U.S. Cellular White Sox post-game live immediately following the game right here on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend.
Santiago Casilla comes into the game. The last time we looked at him, Jim Thome was taking him out to left center field. So Casilla at 1-2, ERA a robust 6.05, on for the 19th time. And he's got a 7-run lead to work with.
Guy, Konerko, and Pierzynski. Jermaine, 0 for 3 today. He's got that 10-game hitting streak on the line.
This is a good guy to keep it going because he's got a pretty straight fastball and he throws mostly hard stuff.
There's the strike. Jermaine has faced him 3 times, has 1 hit. Did well, but to the shortstop. That streak's gone. And here's Konerko. Probably first 2 times up, hit the ball hard. In the 6th inning, hit a little nubber right by Anderson. Just got by him, beats it out for a base hit.
Well, I'm thinking, and this is just me, that an infield hit for Paul Konerko, which is, as we know, very rare, might mean that in the pick to click, you'd have to give it to him.
That's a possibility. That's a possibility.
Yeah, I mean, depending on what happens here, of course. He's hit the ball certainly very well.
Yes, he has.
Played his usual spotless first base.
And that ball hit hard. He is the winner of the pick to click today. Oh boy, Paulie. I tell you, he has been swinging the bat coming up empty.
He's got that batting average right around 300, but he's had a solid year. I mean, it hasn't been a year of great highs and great lows. He's just consistently swung the bat well. He gets a low fastball, just drives it in the gap. Nobody can get to this. And at the very least, let's not get shut out today. Bounces between Louis and Lyons.
Over toward Ted. AJ, he's 1 for 3. Hit the ball hard twice. Once into a double play, once into a single.
Bob Guerin still has his bullpen up and going, so he's not quite sure about this lead.
Boston defeated Detroit 6-3. Minnesota hammered Cleveland 11-3. And that ball into left center field, playing him perfectly, is Davis. And that's out number 2.
AJ also has had a couple of at-bats where he's just hit every bit of the baseball. And he's got only 1 for 4 to show for it. I mean, that double play he grounded into back in the 6th was scalded, but he happened to hit it right at Kennedy.
So here's Josh. Josh is 0 for 3. Takes a strike. Yankees came back and beat Texas 8-6 in the Bronx. One and one to count. And we're down to our last bullet. 7-8-0 for the A's. No runs, 7 hits, 1 error for our Sox. And once again, to all our servicemen and women around the world watching today on the Armed Forces Network, thanks for joining in. We're thinking about you. We miss you. God bless you. Two and two. Knock him in, Josh. Had a good pitch.
It was on the outer third, and it was probably just above the belt. It was a good pitch to hit. He just fouled it straight back.
And this ball game is over. So the A's come into town for a 4-game set. Sox looking to munch up. We win the first game 6-2. And then in the next 3 games, we score 3 runs, Stone Pony.
Well, this team came in last place. They came in a little banged up, but they came in with some very good young pitchers. We saw most of them. And unfortunately, after a great road trip, you lose 3 or 4 to a team you probably should have handled. But they're in the rearview mirror. The Indians coming to town, and Hawk, better luck tomorrow night.
That's the great thing about baseball. We'll get them tomorrow. So right now, let's check out our Lexus Pursuing Perfection player of the game. It is the 21-year-old southpaw Brett Anderson. Going 7 innings, no runs, 6 hits, no walks, 4 strikeouts. That's your Lexus Pursuing Perfection player of the game. So for my partner, former Cy Young Award winner, Steve Stone. Our Hall of Fame director, Jim Angio. Our producer, he's going to be a Hall of Famer, Mike Leary. Our associate producer, Dave Ross, also the man up here in the booth who runs it. The mayor of Angel Crew with Mike Mayer and Frank D'Amato. This is the Hawk. So long, everybody.